Hello, it's Anthony here from Greenfeet, and we're a couple of weeks on. The automower's been out doing its job. Just today to go through the advantages of the automower, the cutting difference between the traditional mower and an automower, and just if you look behind me, you're starting to get that nice kind of a billiard table look on the lawn, and that's what we're trying to achieve. The automower, that's the difference between it. The fact that it's cutting at 360 different dimensions, you're getting a lovely even cut because it's pushing the grass up all the time, getting nice tillers taking place. The only thing we find with the automower, when they go out on a lawn that's established, you can find you have a lot of elongated stems. We often talk about them. The automower tends to get, if this is the stem and these are the plants, it cuts it away down here. So what you're initially doing is you're trying to get those plants back down at the base, just off the crown where they belong. Okay, so elongated stems. If you're the person that's after putting an automower in your lawn, maybe the last 5-6 weeks, and you're finding that the lawn's very yellow and white looking since it went out there, and you're wondering, geez, did I make a mistake? You didn't by no means, because it's just the automower doing its work. What it's doing, it's cutting away at those elongated stems. That's where you're getting that whitening look, but you'll have new plants forming. So we're just going to take a closer look and show you exactly what's happening. Here's a good example. So if you just study this piece of grass, it's probably only a couple of inches square after taking out the ground, but if you look here, this is the big elongated stem that we're talking about. So the idea is the automower will come, cut this plant down lower and start getting the stem down closer to the crown where it belongs. You get a lot more plants forming and you just have a nicer, dense green lawn rather than having all these ugly stems that you would have with traditionally mowing your lawn. So when we talk about sharp blades and automowers, traditional mowing, a tendency is that when you're trying to cut too tight with a rotary mower, we often say that you're pulling the crown, you're creating moss. People say, you know, they might want an automower to come across them from time to time because maybe it's cutting too low because they're afraid of the moss factor. In actual fact, once you're cutting with a sharp blade, you can be cutting right down almost as low as you like. It's like cylinder mowing a golf green at 2 mil, 2.5 mil. The reason you're not getting moss in there is because you're cutting regular with a sharp blade, and that's what you're training the plant into doing. Obviously there's different varieties of grass like bent grass that's able to adapt better. Annual meadow grass can adapt well to low cutting. So if we're talking about lawns, we're talking about rotary mowing, maybe rye, meadow, smooth stalk meadow grass. There's all types of grass in the lawn, but the fact when you start getting that elongated stem, you're cutting down on it, you're pulling the crown, you will get moss. The automower, you're getting down finer. You're looking at these blade mechanism here. You have 3 blades spinning. Often people would say, but how would that lawn cut? I have a half an acre, it's only a little narrow. An automower is a lawn maintenance machine. You don't think about it as how long does it take. The mower does the job, it works every day and keeps your lawn looking pristine all the time. So when we look at the automower, this is typically one is working. You can see it's all grass, so it needs a clean, which we'll go through in a second. But what we have here in the cutting mechanism, we have a skid plate here, and underneath that we have a cutting disc, which to flow independent to one another. What the skid plate does at the top, it protects the blades underneath and the cutting disc. So basically you can see these blades are starting to wear. You know, was a few stones, dogs' ties, different things they're hitting from time to time, but these are ready to change. You can see they're just starting to taper in. So, and they're just slightly getting loose. Ideally, normally we'd say you change the blades. When you see the grass tips starting to whiten a little bit, change the blades because they're due a change just to keep a nice sharp cut going. Ideally, you'd be changing the blades probably somewhere between 8 to 12 weeks. So when we look at the automower cutting mechanism compared to your standard rotary mower, looking at just a much bigger blade. What's happening, this blade is swinging at maybe 3,000 RPM, and what you're doing is you're more or less cutting with sheer impact because I can rub my finger here on this and I'm not cutting myself, you know. That's normally the way most of the blades will be after a couple of cuts, even after a service. If your local serviceman servicing and sharpens the blade, you'll find you wouldn't be able to do that, but after a couple of cuts it doesn't belong getting blunt. So what you're cutting there with sheer impact as that blade swings around. So that's just a quick recap today on the automower. Don't forget, if you're somebody that's kind of half in mind of thinking about an automower, call us 1890 252 778 or contact us greenfeet.ie. The main thing with the automower, we'll come out to you, look at your lawn, assess the size, give you a price on installation, or if you're having any problems with your automower currently, give us a call. We do a free consultation and there's no obligation. So to find out more, greenfeet.ie.